I'm Mark Huska. I am Assistant Vice President of Market Research and Leasing Technology for Peterson Companies. We're a private owner, developer, manager of our own real estate, and we're based in Northern Virginia, just outside of Washington, D.C. and Fairfax, Virginia. What I find is, and have found, is that more and more information is available to more and more people in the industry, whether it's on the landlord side or the tenant side. And I commonly believe if tenants know more about your property than you do, you're probably in trouble. You always want to be as educated and up to speed as you can on what's happening in your trade area, in your region, and so forth. So while this common information is out there through a variety of sources, more evolution in technology is opening up new doors with new services like Spatial. So when I saw it, I thought it was a very unique layer of data and insights to add to our bag of tricks, if you will. So to me, it was going to help bridge the gap between not understanding and understanding more. So I didn't have any hesitation, but we did want to test it. We wanted to experiment with it in our own setting briefly, just to proof of concept, if you will, to make sure that it was going to provide us with what we sought to reach or achieve. So I thought it was fairly easy to understand it. It's not overly complex, but what also helped was to be able to, in this proof of concept scenario that I described, I was able to actually show management and ownership what this was about and why there was value in it. So we really didn't run into any frustrations. It was just learning how to use it, which was not difficult. It actually helped us make a decision to not have a specific tenant at one of the properties. We were thinking in one direction. Data was looking very, very promising out there, but when we layered in Spatial, it actually confirmed that it would not be a great fit and probably a risk. So we decided not to do that, and in that process, we saved hundreds of thousands of dollars in tenant incentives, and then that tenant may not have performed, and then you end up with all sorts of cascading issues after that. That was really enlightening because it goes beyond just demographics and psychographics. When you can understand what's happening in the geosocial world, which many people are in today, if not everybody, that provides that extra layer of insight. If we can have a better understanding of what they're doing pretty much live, if you will, in a geosocial way, that's powerful. What we want to do is kind of rise to the top of that pool of opportunities that they're looking at and provide them as much clarity as possible about the opportunity that we have. And I think this layer of it is very useful and helpful. And in many cases, I've seen when I presented the case to a prospective tenant in person, I can think of one where there were actually two jaw drops in the room when we got to this part of the presentation, because it was something that they hadn't thought about or heard of at the time. Occasionally, their broker representatives or consultant representatives either don't have the right amount of time or tools to evaluate at the level that we're doing it. And so it just becomes more and more helpful when we can maybe even do some of the work for them, some of the legwork, to create the understanding that they need to make a decision where they can operate and do so with success. So we've had a number of wins, and these successes have helped us continue to renew. But it's also a product that now people internally, in the groups that I support are asking about it also. Well, what does Spatial say? It gives me something else to go to raise my confidence level in making a recommendation to our leasing team, leasing executives, division heads, and ownership when they have to make a decision on whether or not to invest in a tenant or why we should be going after one and what's the justification to not go after one. So it elevates, it broadens and deepens, I think, my expertise, if you will. It could be perfect for pretty much any asset class. I see the greatest value at this point in the retail industry. Spatial is now a default in my thinking. Can Spatial shed light on this question? And so it's just a default go-to in my thinking. What can it tell us something that we're not seeing in the other data?